Good evening, and welcome to The Table on Air, your primary source for learning about what's new, what's happening, and what's what in Black LGBTQ plus culture. For those that don't know, I'm your host, Darius Caffey, and I thank you for showing up to this space. We're about to get real, a little deep, and maybe a little teary, but we're going to have some fun, so stick around for the ride. We have a special guest joining us today who has recently joined the founder group chat as an entrepreneur. But for now, here's the latest and greatest in this week's Black Report. So I was reading a book the other day titled It's About Damn Time by Arlen Hamilton, a Black gay entrepreneur and venture capitalist, when I came across a quote that stopped me in my tracks. It read, "Self-belief alone will not achieve your goals, but achieving your goals without self-belief will be almost impossible." Now, I'm going to say that again for the folks in the back that ain't hear me, because when I first read it, I needed to read it twice to hear it, so listen up. Self-belief alone will not achieve your goals, but achieving your goals without self-belief will be almost impossible. Can I get an amen? Now, when I first read this quote, I immediately thought about our table, and I thought about us, you, me, and all of our guests, the team of folks who helped put this all together, because we're no longer alone in believing in ourselves. We created this table to be a space where you're not just celebrated, you're believed in. And if you haven't heard it recently, I believe in you. But that's just a piece of it. For those that have been there before, you know how important visibility is to us and how much we care about shining a light on our community members, supporting them as they achieve their goals. So, thinking about spaces that celebrate people, our table, let's talk about the Trans Youth Joy Zine, the joint project between the Gender Justice Leader Program and the Transgender Law Center. Recently wrapped up their submission call for the spring 2023 collection of joyful, uplifting content by and for the trans community. The publication only provides space for youth to express their identities. It validates it too. Another space of celebration that we can't forget about is E3 Radio. If you've ever had a chance to tune in, then you know that host Anna Deshawn is always sharing the highlights of the culture, but recently they got their own highlight. Their queer news segment recently won an award, y'all, at the Ambies for the best DIY podcast. I send a huge shout out and round of applause to Anna for all the hard work her and the team are doing over there at E3, because a win for one is a win for all. And damn it, I know that win feels good. When you've worked so hard for something and are finally given the flowers or opportunity that you deserve, it means everything. Even if it's a small step in your journey, the wins mean everything. I hope that as you take life day by day, that you continue to find spaces of community so that you don't have to believe in yourself alone. But if you ever feel like you can't, remember that you always have a space at our table because we believe in you and want to see you win. That's a wrap on our Black Report with a QUE. And until next week, keep finding ways to celebrate yourself. Joining us as a guest today, y'all, we have mental health expert, entrepreneur, a friend of mine, and founder of the Hustle app, Reggie Edwards.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hop right into it because I know a busy man when I see one, and a busy man always has a million things going on in his life. So let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, as I said before, you are a mental health expert. You've been working in the field of mental health and mental wellness for a while. Can you explain a little bit about what that journey has looked like for you, being this amazing person and human being that continues to show up for others? And now, you know, you're taking the next steps and figuring out what that means for yourself long term and how to blend those parts of your life together.
Most definitely. So my mental health journey started earlier in my life. My mom was one of the reasons I got into mental health. She believed in me having a therapist as a young child. She allowed me to have a safe space and an open space to be able to just discuss my feelings, my emotions. She might not have agreed with everything, but she allowed me the space to have it. So as I got older, I realized that a lot of people didn't have that space. So I wanted to be somebody to help other people and create a space to where they had that safe opportunity to express their feelings and emotions. Yeah. And in the times we're in today, we need more. It's powerful. Yeah, we need more safe spaces. Yeah. and I'm glad I can be a part of something like that.
Yeah, I am too. And like you said, we need more spaces like that. We need more people who are not just doing the work, but are intentionally showing up to these spaces and, leaning into it, because that's really what it takes. It takes a little bit more of us to lean into it, to be able to support those around us who really do need a lot of that, additional wraparound support. Yeah. So I'm grateful for you to be doing what you're doing to, support our people, because it's not a lot of us that, have that time and space to intentionally have these conversations or, go out and figure out what kind of resources or tools people need. So it's important, that I'm continuously reiterating that it's important for us to do this work. So I'm really glad that you have found a way to, do that as an adult and continue that story and, that heartfelt mission that your mom instilled in you when you were younger. It's showing up in so many different ways.
Most definitely. And I'm happy because I get the opportunity to work with all different ages and all different backgrounds. So that helps me, just help the world a little bit more and just bring a little light to everybody else. So
thinking about the work that you've been doing in the mental health field, as I said before, you are also a founder of an app and have been diving more into the business development scene. How does your working experience in the mental health field inform what you're currently doing or the new, journey that you're embarking on?
Most definitely. So Hustle App is something I created. Me and my partner, Lucas, we created it for young entrepreneurs or really anybody who was interested in bringing a better profit or having a better understanding of their profits with their small business. So in regards to mental health and how it's kind of relatable, a lot of entrepreneurs, they get stressed out, especially when starting a business. Starting a business is not easy at all. Starting this app was not easy at all. So just being able to create that opportunity for how can I lessen the stress of somebody who is starting a business and maybe who doesn't even know anything about financial literacy. That was my main goal, my main objective. I want to make it easier for everybody else because I want everybody to be great in what they do, especially when starting a business. So that's kind of how it all started with the Hustle app. And that's kind of how the mental health aspect is involved in that.
So what was your breaking point for that? What was it that got you thinking like, I need to make this app right now? I see a gap in the market, a problem that needs to be solved. And even just thinking about your, mental health practice, seeing how that leans into this as well. What was that point for you?
Most definitely. So I have two things. One, I have friends that constantly are beginning new businesses.
Yeah.
And
is it inspiring to you?
Very inspiring. But at the same time, they weren't quite sure about how they were bringing in a good profit, or they didn't really have the financial literacy. And they would come to me and I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So I started just thinking of different ways, like, how can I help them? What can I do? And that's how the Hustle app got developed. Another way is with me being a mental health therapist, I have to make sure my books I'm collecting the right checks, and the checks are being deposited in my account correctly. So I needed something better to make sure that I was bringing in the amount that I thought I was bringing in. So those are the two main reasons why I created Hustle app.
So you essentially saw a need for this business for other people, and also got the idea to just do your own thing.
Most definitely.
Crazy to me just seeing, like you said, so many people around me starting these businesses and these new ventures and embarking on these, new business journeys, and seeing just how a small idea can just expand so much.
It become a
physical thing.
It literally was just a thought in my brain, but to actually have it out there on the App Store, on the Google Play Store, it's like, wow, this is literally just a thought in my head. And now it's actually something I can hold, and actually something I can visualize and actually see. So it's kind of creative, and it's kind of dope to me to just be able to see my work working. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. That's a huge accomplishment. I know it's been out for a little bit of time, but I just know that I'm proud of you for doing that,
I
because
appreciate
it really
that.
is a huge accomplishment that a lot of people, are figuring out. They are in different stages of that journey, but you've been able to do it, and it's been out there. So how has that been, having it be on the market and having, some feedback come in from different people who might have been using it? I know I got it on my phone, so I know other people might have it on their phone.
Yeah.
So what is that, being a founder, creator of this app and actually having a product, that people use?
Really inspiring. That's the first thing that came to my mind when you asked that question, because people come to me like, hey, how do I do this? Or your app has been really helpful in getting my business started.
Right.
So that has been very motivating. But if I can keep it real with you, it's also been kind of hard as well, because not only do I have my app, and then I'm also a mental health therapist, and I also work a typical 9-to-5 job. Yeah. It's hard sometimes managing all three at one time. So while it's been very inspiring and very beneficial to a lot of people, I'm just trying to find balance and also make sure my mental health is being balanced out. Yeah. Managing
it takes practice.
It does take practice. It does. Creating boundaries within all three things that I do. But while you're also helping make sure everybody's getting the best benefits of the app.
And so how do you do that? Because I know for myself that that's something that I'm continuously trying to learn how to do better at, is establishing those boundaries and sticking to them, like myself sticking to my own boundaries, and then me doing that, reinforcing them for other people. So how have you found balance in setting those boundaries, sticking to them, and making sure other people are not only aware of those boundaries, but they're following them as well?
So I have become stronger in my no's, and that has really helped.
Can you say that again?
No, for real, I've become stronger in my no's, because so now on my calendar, I have a thing of, I have FOMO sometimes, really bad, fear of missing out. Yeah. So, but over the years, I get better with that, because I was like, I'm going to burn out from anything, just from having fun with friends. I can burn out with that. From working 9 to 5, I can get burnt out with that. Sometimes just being a mental health therapist, I get burnt out with that. So I had to create a way where I'm not losing my own mental health and make sure I have those boundaries. So one of the things that I do now is I create days in my calendars where I have no days. I can say no to anybody, anything that I want to. Okay. And it's been beneficial. So last weekend was my no weekend. So relaxing. That weekend, yeah, exactly. And doing whatever I want to do, whether that's just going for a bike ride, or just walking my dog and just staying outside, something that's beneficial to me, so I can recharge, because that's important. I can only be my best self if I have that full battery. So my no's have been stronger, and I'm proud of that, and it has helped with my boundaries.
And it's hard saying no to people. I don't know for
it is hard saying no,
but for me, sometimes it's hard saying no, especially with that FOMO, fear of missing out, and just. Especially Chicago, it's getting nice outside. Y'all know when the weather get good, we just want to be outside and do something. Yeah. And it's hard sometimes figuring out when to say no and how often to say no as well. And you also understanding capacity. I think sometimes we forget how much energy or effort it takes to do things. And we say yes and sign up, and we just keep going and going. And those no's are important. So I'm glad that you've built that, that boundary within your schedule, not just within interaction with people, but to be like, no, this is my weekend for me. And this is what I'm taking, I'm reclaiming, I'm recharging, and nobody else is coming to interrupt that.
100%. I need it. One of the things that really helps me is when my friends or my loved ones say no to me because they're tired or they need a break. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. Let me start saying no. Let me start making sure my voice is being heard, and setting those boundaries as well. It's just that you're just as important, and you have to remember that as well.
Yeah, so. I agree. I actually have been on this new kick of re-emphasizing, how important rest is for me. And I've had that conversation with, people that I work with as well, is that we have to do this together. We have to continue to not just take our own time, but encourage other people to take their time too.
Most definitely.
And I love that's something that you're doing, checking in with your friends, also letting them know. Yeah. If you're tired, let me know.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We can always, come back to this another day, another time. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. So how has that been, saying no to people? Do you still feel like you miss out on things?
I have missed out on things. I have, but it also been beneficial. What's meant for me is meant for me. If I was supposed to be there, then I would be there.
Yep.
If I had to say no and I missed out on something, maybe I just take it as maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. It's getting better. I have lost some friends in
Oh, wow.
friends. Yes,
Really?
just from saying no and setting those boundaries, because a lot of people aren't used to their friends saying no to them or their loved ones saying no to them, especially when you have FOMO really bad. It's like, but now it's like I have the people in my life that I have now, and I'm blessed and I feel good. So I'm happy about that.
Amen.
So my no's have been helpful.
Good. People be thinking they got too much access to you.
Yeah. One of the reasons I don't have an iWatch, I was just Apple Watch, because I'm like, I can't, it's too much access.
Yeah.
Like, people can't have that much access to me. They can't, so it's important. I look out for myself as well.
That's good.
And I encourage everybody to look out for themselves. It's really important.
It is.
So
if y'all ain't heard nothing else from this conversation, rest is important. Take
Yes.
your days, say
Yes.
no to people.
Yes.
Always. So with all that you do and balance and rest, how have you found balance in your founding the app, working a 9-to-5, and having your own mental health practice? Because you're doing a lot of amazing things, but I know sometimes you got to figure out, what to focus on. So how has that been for you, finding that adjustment in your life as a new entrepreneur?
Most definitely. So not only do I have, even though I'm getting over my FOMO, but now I picked up an addiction of traveling a little bit too much.
Okay. Is that
but
a bad addiction?
My pockets. If you heard of my pockets.
Yeah.
But it's okay because it also allows me to recharge and just relax. Going out the country and or going to another state, especially somewhere with some water and some nice white sand. It feels good and it recharges me. And when I come back, I'm like, okay, good. That's what I needed to get back into the game and to get back to make collecting the bag. I love a nice bag. Period. So that has really been beneficial. Vacations and sometimes just chilling at home and cutting my phone off has been very beneficial as well.
Hi, I'm Hugo Balta, host of 3 Questions With. This week, Darian Crawford of Urban Growers Collective is our guest.
We aim to give communities of colors access to nutrient-dense food through volunteer opportunities, workshops, hands-on trainings.
Join us this Wednesday at 7:30 in the evening on CAN TV 19, cantv.org, and on the brand new CAN TV Plus app.
We talk a lot about rest and boundaries. What does that look like when you feel the need to lean back into your community and bring them into the things that you're doing?
Allowing myself to be vulnerable. I had to practice that, especially as a mental health therapist. I can't tell people to be vulnerable in their space and to be able to lean on their friends if I wasn't doing it. So creating a space with my friends where I'm allowed to be vulnerable and where I'm able to say no to my friends and they understand has been very beneficial to my growth as a person and to just work in general. That has been very beneficial.
Do you feel like they understand or are understanding a little bit more?
The people I have in my life now, they understand.
Okay.
And that's what matters. They understand. And I also understand when they tell me no. It's all about balance and understanding, one another as well. So
yeah, because in true honesty, that support is what helps us get through the day to day. Like, we do need to recharge and take our own time, but that community is so important to our growth as people and what we're able to continue to do. So I'm glad that you have, that community to say, okay, we can go out and kick it right now, but we also can separate ourselves and have our own time to relax and recharge.
Most definitely, because I love a good time still. I do. I love a good time. I love being out with my friends and doing whatever we get into, but I also love my rest.
Yeah.
So when I have that balance and I create that balance for myself, I can be my very best version of myself. So
Yeah. And speaking of best versions of ourselves, we created this space to continue to showcase all the best versions in all parts and stages of who we are as the Black queer community. So I wonder for you, what does that community look like and how has that continued to shape and inform what you continue to do in your work?
It has really been beneficial as I've gotten older, having of the gay friends and having people who support me just for who I am and what I do has been just very beneficial, not only to my career, but to me as a person. Being able to share a space with other people who are like me has been very just dope. And I know that's something that when I was younger, I didn't really have that space.
Yeah.
A lot of us was in the closet or just trying to figure out who we were. And so now that I'm older and I'm able to have that space and I'm able to lean on my friends, that has really created a nice community for me. So, yeah.
What are some positive aspects of that community that you kind of seen show up continuously in your life?
Love, open communication, support.
These are amazing.
Trustworthiness, being able to lean on my friends when times are hard. That has been very beneficial to me in these last 3 to 4 years. I go back to being able to be vulnerable with my friends. One time I just felt like I had to keep everything in, but now I know I can lean on my friends. This is what friends are for. Yeah. A lot of my friends are like chosen family at this point. You guys are my family, and if it feels good to have those people in your life. So just that dependency and that trustworthiness that I have with them has been very beneficial to me.
Yeah, and it makes a huge difference in how we continue to show up, you know, in the world, in different spaces, continue to have conversation with people. These interactions, these engagements, these relationships, they all inform, you know, who we are and what we're constantly doing as people, growing, learning, developing, raising, you know, other young people and leaning into our village and our community. It makes a huge difference in that development piece.
One of the things that's important to me is I want to be the person that I wish I had when I was younger.
And who was that person?
Now, that person is me. Like I am my biggest like cheerleader. I'm my biggest mentor.
Gotta be.
I have to, and it's dope. But now I have little nephews. I have little cousins, and they look up to me. They're like, Uncle Reggie, I want to be like you. And I was just like, man, that's dope. That's dope to hear. That's dope to hear, and it feels good. And because I'm 100% my authentic self, so it feels good to know like somebody wants to follow in my footsteps or whatever the case may be. From me just being me. So yeah. Yeah,
and from knowing you as long as I've known you, Reggie, I do receive that genuineness from you, and I see, you know, why the younger folks want to look up to you, because you do embody a positive person who continues to, you know, show up for the people that you care about, but also are very adamant in, you know, respecting your own time. And I think that is so valuable that a lot of people don't have right now, is that they don't really know how to separate the two.
100%.
And I think that, you know, the practice of learning how to do that continuously is huge and important.
100%.
So thinking about the younger folks and what you wish you would have had when you were younger, what is something that when you experienced it could be recently, it could be when you were younger, what is something that you went through or experienced that seemed very difficult during those times, but now looking back on it, it taught you an amazing lesson?
This might be taken a little bit the wrong way.
Well, it's a safe space.
It's a safe space. I appreciate that.
And a brave space.
I appreciate
so
that.
Speak your truth.
But Kanye West said it. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. As a child, I got bullied a lot. I was more in my feminine ways. I was just to me, I was a normal kid, but I got bullied a lot because I was also different from the other guys I used to hang out with.
Me too.
So in my adult life, sometimes I look back, I'm like, I'm not no punk no more.
Yeah.
I have
can't
a
play
voice.
me.
Okay, you can't at all. I have a voice. I know how to stand up for myself. And I want to say it was because of those situations that I went through in my childhood where I realized, like, yo, you can't let nobody talk to you disrespectfully. You can't let nobody pick on you or whatever the case may be. And I think unfortunately, I think I had to go through that in order to be who I am today. Because I love the voice that I have for myself. I have a voice to stick up for myself. I have a voice to stick up for others. I encourage my little cousins, when they see somebody getting bullied, you stand up for them.
Yeah.
Stand up for them, because that
see it.
That matters. That matters. I remember this one kid, he stood up for me in 5th grade, and I was just like, man, like, we weren't even friends. I'm just like, man, it felt good, and I would never forget who he was. So, and what impact he had on my life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, you are now a part of our community, a part of our village, a part of our family. So whenever you need that support continuously, feel free, always to reach out to me, to our people, all of our supporters. If y'all watching, if y'all are listening to us, reach out to someone who may need some support or some love or some care or maybe just a talking point. Because really, that's what community is. 100%. It's just to have that, level of communication. So I'm glad that we were able to do that here. And hopefully that this conversation does not just stay in this space. Of course it will, but hopefully the things that we've said and the encouragement that we have shared continues to transform the lives of many other people. And that they hear us and that they see us and that they also see themselves in us. Yeah. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, you all, you already know we'll be back next week with more Black queer folks being represented at the table. But for now, we will transition into open space, something new, an opportunity for us to let go, be free, and just live. So stick around for the vibes. So today's game is called Let's Get Cozy.
Okay.
Where I'll ask you a series of questions and you just give me your best response. All right?
I love a game.
So what is something in your closet that makes you feel the most cozy?
My blanket. I love a good blanket, especially when I'm cuddling on the couch. Yeah, I do. I keep one on the couch and in the closet. So yeah, I love a good blanket.
Okay. Is that something that's your go-to?
That's my go-to. That's my go-to.
I love a good blanket too because I'm always cold.
Yes, me too.
What's something in your closet that makes you feel confident?
My black jeans. I love black jeans. I don't know what it is, but I just love my black jeans.
That's my go-to.
Yeah, they make me feel confident. So
okay.
Yeah.
Is that when you feel like you a baddie?
Yeah, a little baddie, Yeah.
Period. Gotta have your go-to. Where do you feel the most comfortable?
In my home. In my home. That's where I feel the most comfortable. That's where I feel like I can just literally just be myself. So yeah.
Where do you feel the most confident?
In my home. In my home. Okay. And actually, I actually also say when I'm with my clients doing therapy. I feel.
Do you work from home?
Sometimes okay. I go in the office. Sometimes I work from home. But yeah.
So that's your space.
That is my space. I love my house.
Yeah. Look, that's important to love your house. A lot of people can't say that they love their house, and when you love it, you just want to stay there all the time.
But I will also say my balcony. I love just sitting outside. I love being outside. So yeah.
I love that. Who makes you feel the most cozy or comfortable?
Myself and God.
Amen.
Myself and God. My faith has really gotten stronger over the years with God, and I'm happy with where I'm at with that. And then thirdly will be my boyfriend. So yeah.
Yeah, that partner support.
I have to shout him out or he's gonna get mad at me. So yeah.
Shout out to the man.
Okay.
Well, you might have already answered this question. Who makes you feel the most confident?
Yeah, that goes back to myself and God, and yeah, just that's what makes me feel confident. Sometimes just looking in the mirror and be like, yeah, I'm that. Can I say? I'm that. I'm that. I'm that person.
Yeah.
I'm that person.
You gotta have those constant reminders. Yes. Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror with them affirmations.
For real.
Reiterate them. Say I
and actually believe it.
Baddie.
And actually believe it. So
yeah. That comes with practice.
It does. That definitely comes with practice.
It does.
So you got to just keep on saying it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And telling other people so that they can repeat it.
No, for real.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions that I had.
Okay, awesome.
So thank you for being here again. Thank you for playing this game with us. And I hope you remember a lot of these responses so that you can continue to show up in these spaces comfortable and confident. So thank you again, Reggie, for being here with me, for being as vulnerable as you have, showing up as your authentic self, and sharing some amazing things with not just me, but the people, because they needed to hear it.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Darius. I appreciate you, man.
No problem. We'll be back, of course, next week with more Black queer folks being represented at the table. But until then, peace out.